Well, greetings everybody, and welcome back. In this second little video clip, I want to share some feedback, some thoughts with you regarding our start this semester, which looks to be very good as far as I can tell. The personal introductions were really interesting. I think we have a very, very diverse and eclectic mix of students in our class, interesting backgrounds, great aspirations, and every reason to think that the class will be a pretty good one, I think, certainly from my point of view. I just wanted to share that sentiment with you and then move on to a quick kind of a discussion or scaffold, if you will, for the block of reading that you will be encountering in our second week. There are several things that you'll probably want to be kind of looking for and thinking about as you encounter them, and I want to kind of outline them for you here. First of all, Voldy is going to tell you about a term that you may have heard before. He's called the technological fix, and you're going to have an idea of what the technological fix is and what his potential strengths and weaknesses might be. Another thing that Voldy is going to do for us is he's going to contrast social problems versus what I guess we can call technical problems or technical ones, and go into a discussion of why it is that yeah, it's maybe true that we landed a man on the moon in 1969, but we can't seem to cure poverty, and there's a reason for this. So, of course, there will be a discussion of the social factors that lie behind that reality, and you want to give them some thought. He'll also talk about something very interesting called technocracy, and this actually was a movement years ago. There was a lot of thought that technocrats and the school of thought called technocracy would be the answer to the future. So you want to have an idea of what technocracy is, and although we don't really talk about it so much these days, I think it would be interesting to give some thought to whether or not we don't implicitly accept the idea of technocracy in contemporary American society. You'll also want to return to the thought of social constructivism and be considering the points at which social constructivism as a way of looking at technological advance and change makes particularly good sense, and those points at which perhaps it's less applicable. Maybe technological determinism, for example, might creep in and be a little bit more effective at those points. If so, why? Finally, I guess kind of in that general connection, there's a discussion of the development part of what is conveniently called R&D, which of course is shorthand for research and development. We tend to think in popular parlance of technology being so heavily related to research, but really the development is a terribly important part of it. And having been a part of a research and development organization myself in my industrial career, I truly have a personal appreciation for what that's all about. And I think Voldy is pretty much right on target on that one. So you want to be thinking about development as an important activity, especially development in connection with a surrounding market economy. So the idea of economy as enabling mechanism, especially a market mechanism as opposed to a planning mechanism, is going to be important for us. The idea of great men, and I don't mean this to be a sexist term here, we just used to always call it the great man theory, could really more properly today be called the great person theory, is discussed at some extent. And here's an interesting dialogue, I think, that we could engage in terms of the extent to which technologies, advances, and so forth are attributable to the more or less single contributions of quote-unquote great people who come along, see a different reality, and just through sheer force of personality, perseverance, whatever else combination of things it takes in their personality, end up making a world-shaking contribution through the technological realm. So while it probably is not untrue that there have been such people in the past, you'll want to kind of see what the strengths and the constraints of that line of thinking might be. And then finally, I think you want to take a look again at the idea of timing in the economy and give some thought to what Voldy shares with us throughout his book, and that is some interesting examples of technologies, once again, with which we may have a lot of familiarity today, the way we use them, the way we see them, we think of them, but the way they actually were conceived of originally by those folks who first introduced them. I think you'll find it kind of surprising and enlightening to see the way in which some of these very common and important kind of technologies were originally thought of in terms of what they would be used for. Anyway, folks, that's pretty much it for right now. Thanks again for the great work that you've been doing so far. I'm looking forward to more of the same. I would kind of conclude by saying that I have been into the essay assignments, and I'm working my way through them. My objective is to turn them over for you within a week of their receipt by me, and get feedback to you as quickly as I can. For the most part, they're very, very, very good, very thorough, very well written, very reflective. A couple of cases where I think the essence of the essay problem, if you will, has been addressed, but perhaps less thoroughly so than it should be. So with that as kind of a word to the wise, I will sign off for now and look forward to this next week's work and chatting with you about a week from now with a scaffold and feedback on what is coming around the corner at that time. So thanks again. I'll see you at that time. Bye-bye.